Once again, across the state of Oklahoma, it's Oklahoma Sportscene time. Hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln, along with the coach, Gil Cloud, our Hall of Fame athletic director of the Tulsa Public Schools. Busy show, Coach. It starts with a brand new member of the Tulsa World Sports staff, sports writer Dekota Gregory.
We're glad to have Dekota here in Tulsa, and he's doing a lot of work with the University of Tulsa and transitioning in and covering other things, and so it'll be great. I think he's from Locust Grove,
right,
and is really glad to be here in Tulsa, and we're glad to have him.
A school administrator is here, one of your favorites.
I tell you, Dr. Larry Rice has done a wonderful job at Rogers State University as the president, and his commitment to athletics, intercollegiate athletics, by letting that school join the MIAA, their transition to Division II, which I was fortunate to be in two different places make that transition, speaks volumes about what he feels about the importance of athletics and what it means to the collegial experience.
And Rogers State University is certainly on the cutting edge, not only of academics, but of athletics, by having the first eSports program in the state, and that is really taken off. Their coach, Shane Hollaway, will be able to talk about that, but you're familiar with eSports with the Tulsa Public Schools.
Absolutely. We have 3 schools that have put that in, and of course, one of the great things that makes kids interested in it is now there's athletic-related aid scholarships for eSport, and they have competition, and it's one of the growing sports in the NCAA.
And Michael Nsien, the head coach of the Tulsa Roughnecks, will be here. They're looking forward to the October schedule with 3 home matches. They'll close the season out. So you Roughneck fans got some soccer coming up in the month of October. Ted Owens, longtime coach, of course, the University of Kansas, a Hall of Fame basketball coach, and very much involved with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. They've got a very special luncheon coming up here in Tulsa. We'll talk about that with the head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks, Bill Self, was the featured speaker, and the Jayhawks are a bit in the news too.
They'll be in the news a little bit. It'll be interesting by the time we get to that date.
October 1st, yeah.
What might happen, but whatever it is, I've known Bill Self since he was a sophomore at Edmond High School.
That's right.
And I've known his dad forever, Bill Self Sr., and he's a good guy, and we can only hope the best for him.
That event is October 2nd in downtown Tulsa. We'll talk more about that with Ted Owens. And of course, a Remington Report with a very special interview with Shane Elliott. I knew him because he won the Kentucky Derby in 2004 that I covered, but he won on Smarty Jones. He's now doing a great job at Remington Park, moved his tack here to Oklahoma. All right, Coach, let's wrap up the football week just passed, and Oklahoma State had a lot of opportunities. Let it get away in Austin.
I thought they had a great chance and a great opportunity to win. It would have been really, really good. I still think Texas is overrated. I don't think there's any question about that. And if they have trouble, I think with the Oklahoma State offense, they're really going to struggle with the Oklahoma offense. And
the Cowboys back home, getting ready to host Kansas State in a 6 p.m. game. It'll be on ESPN+. Wildcats making a little noise.
Chris Kleiman, I've known Chris Kleiman for a long time. My head coach at Upper Iowa University is his offensive coordinator, Courtney Messingham. They were teammates at Northern Iowa University. And the success that he's had at North Dakota State with 5 national championships, what an outstanding hire, I think, for K-State. And when he was hired, everybody said, "Who's this Chris Kleiman guy? And he's coming from North Dakota State. What is that?"
Yeah.
Well, I think he'll make some waves in the Big 12.
And a great win for the University of Tulsa on their home opener this past week as they came back to beat Wyoming, held off Wyoming in a very dramatic fashion, getting a fumble on the 3-yard line with less than a minute to play. Dekota Gregory is going to talk more about that for TU and look ahead. They've got an open date coming up. Then they get into American Athletic Conference play at SMU, and who knew that was going to be this tough, huh?
Who knew SMU was going to be that tough? Who knew Tulane was going to beat Houston?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, the AAC every week is going to be a challenge, I think, for everybody in there. And, what they thought the pecking order was, really with Houston at the top, Houston's going to struggle now.
And SMU, of course, won at TCU.
Correct.
The Big 12 school there, so just amazing.
And you look at University of Tulsa, beat San Jose State.
That's right.
San Jose State beat Arkansas.
31-24 in Fayetteville. That was gut-wrenching and expensive, right?
They paid $1.5 million for San Jose to come and beat them.
What lousy guests they were, huh? Golly.
Exactly.
Oklahoma, of course, had an open date, although that was interesting. Lincoln Riley said, we don't look at it as an open date or a bye week, right?
Time to practice.
Yeah.
You get back to technique and do the things that you can't do when you're game planning. What people don't realize, is the week is really short. NCAA rules is you have to take off a day.
Right.
So you have to take, usually what we used to do is we'd take off Monday, we'd practice on Sunday to make sure everybody came back so they go to class on Monday.
Right.
So they take Monday off, and then you go through the week when you're game planning, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you got 3 days and that's it. Friday you have to travel or you're off in light, and Saturday you play. So when you have a week off, you can get back to those individual techniques and fundamentals that you can't do during the year.
Sooners have an 11 a.m. kickoff coming as they start Big 12 conference play, defense of their multiple titles, with Texas Tech Red Raiders coming to Norman. That's 11 a.m. kickoff on Saturday. It'll be on Fox 23. And I even feel older. I got a call from Billy Sims last week. Bill and I are catching up, and the OU Heisman Trophy winner. Hey, Chris, wish me happy birthday. Happy birthday, Billy. How old are you? 64.
64.
How's that possible?
Chris, well, you know, the time flies when you're having fun. Yeah.
NFL, they're so I tell you, it is getting tougher and tougher to watch pro football, Coach.
You know, it's not the same game as we get used to on Saturday.
Yeah.
And so we get into Sunday, and, we thought that the Baker Mayfields and the Kyler Murrays and some of those, the Wilsons from Seattle, were going to make a difference in the way offenses looked at. But I tell you, what really concerns me right now is the number of injuries that have occurred.
Quarterbacks especially.
Well, you know, Cleveland lines up last night, and all 5 of their defensive backs are out.
Unbelievable.
They're playing second teamers against that football team. So, I'm really concerned about that, and I just hope for their sake that in the 100th year of the National Football League, it gets better toward the end.
Cowboys off to a good start. Dallas now 3-0, beating uses Miami 31-6. The Chiefs also undefeated still. Carolina beat Arizona. Kyler Murray just going to get killed with that offensive line in front of him. And Baker couldn't pull his magic out. The Rams beat him on Sunday night 20-13. Roughnecks have 3 home matches coming up in October. Lost a heartbreaker on September 21st, 1-0 to Orange County. And again, Coach Nsien will be here to talk to us about Roughnecks soccer later on in the show. We had hockey here in town this past week, Coach. NFL exhibition. The Dallas Stars were here.
The only problem is on Friday night.
Yeah, I know. That was made it tough for everybody.
Yeah, that's hard.
And it's tough for the Dallas Stars, too. They were always obviously thinking about high school football.
Yeah.
They got beat 6-0 by the Florida Panthers. TU Athletic had their Hall of Fame induction to class this past Friday. They go through this museum. I was especially excited to see F.A. Dry.
I think that he was the star of the show. I
was.
think F.A., well, he's done University of Tulsa as the athletic director and the head football coach.
3-time conference coach of the year, and a guy hosted the F.A. Dry show years ago back in the 70s. And he just looks fantastic, still lives in Fort Worth. They also honored their 1988 NCAA champion women's golf team, all part of the Athletic Hall of Fame of the University of Tulsa. OSU Celebration of Life happened this past Wednesday at Gallagher Arena, honoring, of course, the great memory of the great T. Boone Pickens, who got his Cowboy of them all, has left us now. We're going to come back with Dekota Gregory, the Tulsa World sports writer, gets his introduction to Oklahoma sports scene. Stay with us.
Cheers. All right, y'all, how's everything tasting?
That is awesome.
I come bearing gifts of the liquid variety.
Bricktown Brewery. Come and get it.
Whether it's a wedding, birthday, family reunion, or company event, give your next big event a unique country feel at our Red Barn Event Center located just north of Tulsa. We feature plenty of party room inside and out for up to 350 guests, a huge open floor space, and even a big stage. The Red Barn features a full kitchen, separate bride and groom dressing areas. Outside weddings are beautiful under our 100-year-old pecan tree. For your next big event, with a do-it-yourself wedding, the Red Barn Event Center is the perfect choice. Booking now for future events.
Join us on Saturday, October 12th, when your Tulsa Golden Hurricane is back at H.A. Chapman Stadium, taking on the Navy Midshipmen in the American Athletic Conference. It's our military appreciation game, so you won't want to miss everything we have in store to support those who support us. Tickets start at just $15, so get yours today at tulsahurricane.com/tickets or by calling 918-631-GO-TU.
Hey Mo, have you seen the MDX? I'm pretty sure it was in the showroom when I left yesterday.
No, sorry, Jen. I haven't seen it.
positive you haven't seen it?
Hey, Mo, I went ahead and pulled the MDX back up on the showroom for it. Oh, hey, Jen.
Haven't seen it, huh?
We're back at the Bricktown Brewery on South Peoria in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And joining us now is the newest member of the Tulsa World Sports staff, Dekota Gregory. Dekota, welcome to Oklahoma. Welcome to Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
I should say welcome to Oklahoma. You're an Oklahoma native. Give us some of your background, Dekota.
I'm originally from Locust Grove and then grew up reading the Tulsa World, so it's kind of a dream come true in a bit because it's kind of the paper that helped get me into sports writing. From my dad would come home every Saturday and Sunday. When he'd finish the sports section, he'd give it to me and I'd read it. So same place Jimmy Trammel's from, so he was kind of my mentor through high school, and so it all kind of worked out. But yeah, I'm glad to be part of this paper as well.
Any jobs before coming into the World, or what were you working on?
Well, I interned at Tulsa World 2 summers ago.
Oh, good. Okay.
When I was at Oklahoma State, and then last season I covered North Texas football for it's an SB Nation website. So I covered Mason Fine, who was from my hometown. So I covered him all through his high school career. We kind of reunited, and I covered him for a season at college too. So.
Oh, that's great.
Well, that's fantastic. So you majored in journalism?
Yes. I went to Oklahoma State, worked at the Ocali, spent about all my time at the Ocali in that newsroom.
Oh, I bet.
Sure.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So far you've been in Tulsa. What's impressed you about the Tulsa World and the Tulsa community?
I love this community. It's like I said, it's a place I grew up in. Even though I grew up 45 minutes from here, I'd never really been in Tulsa as much. So during my internship, I kind of avoided downtown because I hated driving there. But once in my internship, and I came to love downtown and just being in the area, and just I love how much pride people kind of take in Tulsa from out of town people who work at the World, who aren't from around Tulsa. Like, it's crazy because you don't think about Tulsa, but people who live here love this city so much for what it is.
And I see your lovely wife, Sarah's joined us here at Bricktown Brewery. And so how long you guys been married? Just new family?
A little over a year.
Oh,
we got married last June. She's from Texas. So
Texas girl.
That's what put us in Texas last year, and so now she's back up. Now she's Noki.
Well, I sat in the press box, of course, at TU for their opener against Wyoming. We need to talk about that football game.
Yes.
Big win for the Hurricane, and it was a nail biter.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, that's for sure. It's kind of, you thought they were going to, it looked under a minute. It looked like it was Wyoming's ball game. And the next thing you know, I think when the Wyoming quarterback kind of took off there around the end, we were all like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
It's Wyoming's ball game. And then all of a sudden, within a second, I think in my story, I put at like 51 seconds, it was Wyoming's game. Then at 50 seconds, it was TU's ball game. It changed just like that because of that fumble.
And that was our senior linebacker, Cooper Edmondson, who made the big hit that knocked it away with 50 seconds left. And he was named the AZ Defensive Player of the Week, I guess, for that,
and
too.
Well-deserved, very well-deserved. He had 9 tackles, and that last one was obviously his best one, and probably what gave him that honor of just, I thought it was crazy when he told us about afterward that he was on the ground when that play started, where a guy knocked him on the ground, and he was still able to just have that hustle and get up and make that play, and it kind of paid off where, he cut back in just in time. But even after the game, before I even got to the press conference, my dad had texted me. He's like, that was a well-deserved, because he's like, Cooper Edmondson had it everywhere the entire game. He'd even notice his hustle the whole game.
Well, I've always said luck beats skill.
Yes, for sure.
You got to be a little lucky to win, and when you go through a season like that, those breaks have to be there in order to get to where you want to be. So, covering the University of Tulsa and sports in Tulsa, so far, what's been your favorite story to cover?
I recently had a feature out 2 weekends ago, I believe, of Archie Bradley, Dylan Bundy, and Adrian Hauser.
Right.
Adrian's another guy from Locust here I grew up in, so I kind of knew of this story, and I was just waiting for the right outlet to be able to tell it. But they were on the same Little League team growing up, so they were all 3 in the same rotation when they were 12 years old, and now they're all, pitching for big league clubs. 2 of them starters, Archie being the Diamondbacks closer. So it's just kind of crazy that they all were Tulsa area kids growing up, and I couldn't imagine being 12 years old playing those kids back then, because how good they are back. They were still that good back then too.
Now, are you assigned like the TU beat, or do you guys rotate different assignments? Or?
I'm primarily the TU beat. Okay. However, since I was kind of in a late addition, Kelly's doing a lot of traveling for TU.
Hines, right?
Kelly Hines is traveling with TU. So when she's traveling, I'll kind of take over her role. So like this weekend with TU being a bye, I'll be in Norman helping with OU coverage. So when she's gone, I'll help a little bit OU and OC coverage, which I kind of like.
Yeah,
that's good. That we've got coverage, and year in, year out, the Tulsa World Sports section wins a lot of awards.
Yes, it's
and
a great.
I think one of the things that people have talked to us about is that it's what you just mentioned a moment ago is the number of quality athletes that are come from Oklahoma and from Northeast Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So that makes it easy for you to cover them.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how many great athletes come from here. But I mean, you just think recently Josh Jacobs and Tyler Lockett are guys you get to watch on TV just yesterday, and they're all from right here.
Coach, his wife Becky and I were at the game too, and we're all very concerned about that. I never seen so many Wyoming football players hit the ground and be carried off the field or go to the locker room. And one we're really concerned about, in about 30 minutes to get him off the field, the big offensive lineman, junior Logan Harris, went off by ambulance, Coach.
Right.
Hospital. Don Tomkowski let us know that he was released from the hospital, and obviously in good enough shape he was able to fly back on the charter. So that was good news.
Great news.
I tell you what, I thought the TU defense was so physical during the game. I mean, at one point, I think they had 6 players that were on the sideline or in the tent. And when you're playing defense that well, you got a chance to win.
Yeah.
I mean, that's intimidating.
That was such a big win. Obviously, he put Tulsa even 2-2 on the season now, heading into AAC play with a week break before going down to SMU. And all of a sudden, what's happened with SMU? Undefeated.
They're good.
And win at TCU, right?
Yes,
Oh,
I mean, before the season started, we were talking to Coach Montgomery that they have a tough schedule, but it's every week. I didn't even think we planned on it being this tough at this point when we were talking about it.
Tulane jumps up and beats Houston.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, with the AAC, like you say, every week is going to be a challenge. I think.
And it just keeps
the
getting
team
tougher.
Tulsa beat on the road, San Jose State. What did Arkansas pay him to come there and invade?
$1.5 million.
And they beat Arkansas.
Oh,
my gosh.
That means both the TU's wins beat SEC teams now.
Right.
Oh, that's
absolutely.
impressive. Very nice.
You
Very
bet.
good. My
Well,
God.
I tell you what, that's a sign of the times, I think, in college football, because the parity gets closer and closer.
Yes.
You just need 1 or 2 breaks in the game and maybe an injury here or there, and a subpar team can beat a better football team. You're telling me how much money Arkansas spends on football? Oh my goodness. As opposed to San Jose State.
Yeah, my gosh.
For sure.
Your impressions overall of college football so far through the first 3 to 4 weeks of the season?
A lot of fun. I think, like he says, the parity when you have Wyoming beating Missouri and San Jose State beating Arkansas. It's just, you never know. And that game last Friday night with Tulane in Houston was one of the most fun games I've watched in a long time. And I think being a younger guy, I'm all about offense, and that's kind of what the football we are now. So you get exciting plays like that, and it's a blast to watch. Even if it keeps you up till 1 a.m., it's still fun to watch.
Dakota, good to have you join us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Oklahoma Sports Team. We have something for you, Dakota.
You bet.
And you and your wife
come back to Bricktown, you and your wife, anytime on us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bet.
Thank you.
All right, that's Dekota Gregory, the newest sports writer for the Tulsa World, and coming to TU beat right now, the Golden Hurricane. We return. Dr. Larry Rice, president of Rogers State University, will be here to get us up to date on the Hillcats.
The service is amazing.
Food's delicious.
I love the avocado fries.
I love the energy.
Local beer, great food, truly friendly service.
Look all right for you?
Bricktown Brewery, come and get it.
Each week we talk about the GTR, and we know for a fact that Forrest Cameron and his wife Sharon put out a tremendous paper. Well, I brought all 6 of them today. I'd like for you to see them. The Union Bound Dairy, and here is the Owasso Rambler. And if you live in Bixby, how about the Bixby Breeze or Broken Arrow, the Broken Arrow Express, Jinx, District Gazette, and then of course the Tulsa Midtown. All of those, the GTR. If you haven't had an opportunity to read one, do it, and you'll be proud of it.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene, and we have a really special guest, Dr. Larry Rice. the president of Rogers State University and his 40th year of education. We're really glad to have you here.
Thank you, Gil.
We can tell you, Dr. Rice, that Rogers State was one of our first sponsors and continue to be a very loyal sponsor, and we appreciate it.
Sure do, yeah.
You're most welcome. We try to be first in a lot of things.
And you have been, so I remember you became president, of course, in 2008, but before that, you involved with RSU earlier, then the University of Tulsa.
Yes.
And then, how'd you get into politics, right? Became a state representative?
Yes, I did. I was at Rogers State College in those days.
Right.
And some of my friends talked me into seeking the election, and lo and behold, I won. And then I had a problem. Then I had to go find another job.
Yeah, there you go.
So University of Tulsa was kind enough to hire me, and so that's how I ended up at University of Tulsa. You can't have two state jobs. And
Right.
So 17 years, University of Tulsa.
Very good. 1997, 2004, District 8 representative there, representing Rogers, Mays, and Wagner counties. But now, of course, Rogers State University. I don't know if people have any idea the great history of this university up on the beautiful hill there in Claremore.
It is part of the statehood agreement. We were a preparatory school. It's part of the statehood agreement. There was two, Tonkawa and Claremore. And after a few years it closed. In fact, it closed in 1917, reopened in 1919 as Oklahoma Military Academy. Military Academy for 52 years. Very, very good military academy.
Yeah.
It was the West Point of the Southwest, is how it was referred to. Then in 1971, Military Academy closed. We opened as Claremore Junior College. And we've been Claremore Junior College until 1996. 1996, we took over Tulsa. 96 to 1998, we took over the old UCAT Center in Tulsa.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was Rogers University for 2 years. Roger Randall was the president.
I know that's right. Yeah.
It didn't work, so we went back to Claremore in '98 with permission to seek accreditation as a 4-year school. The Regents hired Dr. Joe Wiley. In record time, got a national award. 1 year time, he was able to get Rogers State University accredited as a 4-year school. We opened our doors in the year 2000 as Rogers State University. So we're only 19 years old.
Wow.
That's great. You know, I knew Joe Wiley when he was at Southeastern.
Yes,
I was at
yes.
Northeastern at the time, and he called me up one day, and to your credit and to his, the commitment to athletics was very important to him
Yes.
at that time. Started out NAIA and then now have transcended into NCAA Division II,
That's
which
correct.
I think is fantastic for the state and for Rogers State.
It is. And thank you, Gil. I spent a lot of my time trying to explain to people what NAIA was, and so it was tough getting into NCAA.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's a good transition. The brand is strong,
Right.
and you're right. When I arrived, I actually arrived in February of '08 as an interim, and President Wiley left in June of that year. But it was just an interesting transition, from NCAA Division I school in Tulsa to NAIA, and then we had started sports a couple years before I arrived. I think baseball was the first one with a club sport. We didn't have any fields. And so we started baseball sort of like, just sandlot. So, Lowe's is the field we started. It's the Lowe's now in Claremore.
Oh my God.
So anyway, so I arrived in '08, and lo and behold, within a year or two, we were going to NAIA tournaments, the national championships in Kansas City. It was just phenomenal what Red Baker, he was coach, athletic director, floor sweeper. I mean, the whole bit. So it was exciting.
Rogers State University now has 16 sports, properly divided, right, Coach?
Absolutely.
8 men, 8 women.
Title IX.
Plus cheer, plus dance, but a total of 220 athletes. And they really, the Hillcats are always impressive, always very competitive, and really made their mark in a lot of sports, Dr. Rice.
Thank you, Chris. It's a privilege to work there. It's fun. We're just now been accepted and starting our first year in the MIAA.
Okay.
And so those schools look more like us. Plus, we'll have some in-state rivalries. The MIAA, I can't name all of them, but it's NSU, it's UCO, it's Washburn, it's Southern Missouri, Missouri Southern. So we cut our drive time in half by leaving. Now the Heartland Conference had started having some issues, and so it was absorbed into the Lone Star. We had a chance, Rogers State and Newman had a chance to go into the MIAA. Now the MIAA is a football playing.
Absolutely.
And so they went out on a limb and let Newman and Rogers in, and with the promise that we would be excellent without football.
I'm impressed. Look at some of these information that they passed on to us. Thanks to Rhonda Spurlock for sending us this information to Rogers State. Not a single RSU team last year had a losing record in their sports program. Men's soccer currently ranked nationally ranked, Coach. They're 15th in the nation, undefeated. Women's soccer is 3-1-0. Women's golf won their first tournament, the NSU tournament up in Tahlequah, by the way. Men's golf, 8th out of 18 teams. So RSU, no losing record last year. That's some kind of competition, especially when athletics really started in 2007.
It's a phenomenal record. Somehow the Hillcats continue to win. And let me remind you that including our coaches, we had 5 years of cuts from the state. 1 year with a flat budget, and so now in the 7th year we got a little appropriation. But for 2 years, every full-time employee, including the president, took furlough. So all these coaches, I mean, it's phenomenal what our faculty, staff was able to achieve. Even 5 years of drastic cuts, including our coaches, but our coaches find a way to win, but they also find a way to graduate these students. That's the most important thing.
Well,
That's the
Dr.
most
Rice, I
important
tell you, it all starts at the top, though, and I'm not saying that to be condescending. It's the truth. Having spent 20 years in the college business, if the president's not on board, it's going to be tough. And you've been on board from day one,
absolutely,
which makes it a part of engaging the students, but also engaging the student body with athletics and making them be a part of the collegial experience.
Well, you're right, Gil. And, you know, athletics puts you in the newspaper every day, either good or bad. You're in the newspaper. And so I get to meet with all the athletes at the first day of school that evening. So I tell them, you know, we do one thing. We have one way of doing things at Rogers State, and that's the right way. You know, because you mess up or the president mess up, it's not just Chris Lincoln. It's athletic director Chris Lincoln. It is student. It's the basketball star Chris Lincoln or the president Chris Lincoln. So we've got this tagline, and so we spend a lot of time on doing things right.
And you're almost even enrollment-wise with the University of Tulsa with 3,600 students, right? On the
That's correct.
Claremore campus.
That's correct. Almost all regionals have the last few years. Well, higher education in general has taken some hits of low enrollment. So this year, I tell people, head counts for bragging rights. So we're down just a little bit in head count, but we're up in credit hours. So that's where you get paid. It's credit hours. So.
And before you leave, something about Buffalo. What's going on?
I want to tell you the
Claremore?
story. Athletics is more than just a way for young men and women to go to school, and graduate debt-free in most cases. And by the way, 50% of Rogers State students graduate debt-free.
That's fantastic.
That's incredible.
And so we have a lot to be thankful for that. But athletics does a lot for our community. So my friend Ed Lynn, his daughter, we recruited his daughter from Yukon, and now about 3 of his kids has come. But he came over to Claremore to watch his daughter play, and he said they need a Buffalo Wild Wings. And so he has several Buffalo Wild Wings franchises, so he put in a Buffalo Wild Wings. So it's not only good for our students, it's good for our communities. We have a Buffalo Wild Wings, and so
there you go.
Another little trivial thing that I just found out yesterday watching NSU and RSU women play soccer, double overtime.
Wow.
It was a draw. No one won.
Yeah,
that's double overtime. But yesterday I was visiting with one of our alums, and they said, you know that Dr. Mark Peden played basketball for Ren Baker back in the day. Now he's a professor at RSU. And I said, no, didn't know that. So sports has a positive influence on many different factors, and I'm very, very proud of all of the sports and athletics. Proud of our athletic director. He has just done, Chris Ratcliffe has done a great job, but all the ones before him have done a great job too.
You bet.
We have some for you, Dr. Rice, here.
Dr. Rice, when you get back, it's not Buffalo Wild Wings, but it's Bricktown.
It's Bricktown, no. And thank you for inviting me, because I've not been in this facility.
Oh, so enjoy dinner with us here?
We'll enjoy dinner with you, and thank you for the opportunity to spend some time together. And I know you're going to talk esports with Coach Hollaway.
Shane Holloway is coming on next here to talk esports. But also, let you know, we're very proud. Thomas Walkiesick, one of our production guys, a proud RSU grad. Yes. Devin Hill, one of the people at Bricktown, also an RSU grad. So our representatives here.
It's a pleasure to spend some time with you and Gil. And because of athletics, we have esports. Our athletic director brought the concept of esports to us. So.
And first of all, the universities in Oklahoma to have esports, right?
That is correct. And it's value added. We look for ways to be first in a lot of things at Rogers State, including supporting this show.
There you go.
Number one, RSU. Dr. Larry Rice joining us. And again, esports coming up with Shane Hollaway next on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
Winston, tie or bow tie? Good choice.
Sammy, they're here.
Good morning, welcome to the...
Come on, you guys. What did you think they were here for?
Well?
It's the Honda Summer Spectacular Sales Event going on now at Don Carlton Honda.
The Eschbach 6E Ranch on 800 acres north of Tulsa invites you to know the benefits of miniature Herefords. The 6E has always been committed to providing the finest quality meats. Our hormone-free beef is always on grass, then grain-fed the last 90 days to that perfect mix of marbling and taste. We will deliver the animal to a USDA-inspected facility. All you have to do is pick up your vacuum-packed processed meat. Fill your freezer with the finest quality beef at the best price. We also specialize in registered miniature Herefords for breeding and show. Call the 6E Ranch today.
Well, Dr. Larry Rice, president of Rogers State University, just with us, and very proud of their new esports program at Rogers State University. In fact, the first university with esports in the state of Oklahoma. And the reason behind that, Shane Hollaway, their esports coach. All right, that's as much as I know about esports. Shane, give us an idea about this program. How did it all start at RSU, and what's it involve?
So esports in general is in competitive video game scene, so that can range from a wide variety of different types of games. So it's played online mostly. There is physically going to different places to play for scholarships and play for money and every kind of thing like that. But how it kind of got started at RSU is the athletic director had a meeting with some of the students. There was a student organization that really kind of wanted to grow it because they were very passionate about it and kind of wanted to make a drive to kind of grow the scene and develop it. So they reached out, they started talking to some other universities around the nation that are really kind of at the forefront of esports, and just jumped right in. And we've gone, they've started last year, and this year is our first full-time gig, so we've offered scholarships. We've got 4 different competitive games that we're playing in, so we're really excited to finally kind of get the program up and running.
You know, we have 3 of our high schools that have jumped in with our IT people, and they've really done a great job. And it gives, I think, when I talk with the Activities Association about the involvement with this, you know, their feeling is that probably in the next 3 to 4 years, there'll be a state championship sponsored by the OSSAA.
Definitely.
Simply because it engages more kids into the program.
No, I mean, it's a perfect way for people that aren't interested in traditional sports to kind of find their niche in a school system. People have found out that if they have a way to be involved in a school system, whether that's arts, music, athletics, you know, better grades, better attendance. So this kind of gives the high schools a way to reach more kids and, you know, help kind of grow their programs and everything.
Right. Tell me about the teams involved, you have team names, and what you're involved in, how they're competing.
So right now we got 4 teams that play in 4 different games: Overwatch, League of Legends, Rocket League, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Now, there you go. So they're all different. They all play differently. There's different amounts on each team. Rocket League, for instance, has 3, while Overwatch has 6 teammates. So each team size is different. So it's really team-based. I mean, it's just as team-based as any traditional sports is, honestly.
Chris has trouble with his iPhone, so
yeah, I know. And what game do you play to win $3 million? I want to sign up for that one.
That is Fortnite, which is a battle royale.
There you go.
That's the one that is the big payday right now. That kind of is what's grown this scene, tremendously, because they're seeing just how much of an opportunity it is for people to earn money, make a living, and kind of grow from there.
I know ESPN spent hundreds of millions of dollars to buy a lot of esports stuff, putting it on TV. I'm still trying to picture people actually sit there and watch people in the arena sitting there playing games.
Just like any traditional sports, you go to watch a football game, you sit there in the stands and watch them play. It's kind of that same deal. If you really love the game and you really like it.
How many students do you have in your program right now?
So right now for our competitive team, we've got 25 students. That's for our 4 games. Now, with that said, people can come into our facility and use it at any time, so that you don't have to just be on our competitive team. So right now we've got over 300 students on campus that have requested access to it. They can come in, come in and play it anytime they really want to.
So we can go, I can come out there and...
Yeah, we'll get you guys set up.
Coach, let's just go one-on-one.
We'll be good on that.
Well, I can find you guys a great game. We can get you a one-on-one match and play.
It needs to be easy.
I can definitely find it.
Total budget for scholarships, $62,500.
Yep.
One of only 125 universities competing in the inaugural TSPA Varsity Overwatch Tournament. I was interested too, you've also partnered with Will Rogers Memorial Museum, FTW Game Company. Talk about that promotion.
So they reached out to us during the summer wanting to grow the esports scene kind of around the community of Claremore. A great game is Super Smash Brothers. I mean, it's a fighting game. It's hard to master, easy to learn. It's really fun to watch. So they reached out. We were like, okay, sure, let's partner up. Let's see what we can do. So we've partnered up with them. We ran 2 tournaments so far. It had 25 kids from anywhere from 12-year-olds all the way up to 25, 30-year-olds playing this.
Are you recruiting kids to come?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely, actively. I'm on a bunch of recruiting websites that people from all over the nation that can reach out to me that have an interest in esports that feel like they can compete.
We talked last year at the Tournament of Champions of having a tournament going on up in the foray of the Maybe Center. Because we have all those kids.
Oh yeah, they're there.
You know?
Definitely, it's like I said, there's so many avenues you can take esports to and pair it with traditional sports. That's a great way to do it.
Shane, thanks for joining us. We have something for you for joining us here on Oklahoma
Come back
Sportscene.
to Bricktown, Shane.
Oh, awesome, definitely.
On us, that'd be great.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate being
All
able
the
to
best
talk
to the
about it.
Cats.
Thank you.
Shane Hollaway, RSU's esports coach. When we come back, we'll have another coach with us. Head coach of the Tulsa Roughnecks, Michael Nsien.
At Bricktown Brewery, we're known for our famous original craft beers like Single String Stout and Bluesberry Ale. Did you know we also brew our own root beer at our Oklahoma City brew house? It's called Attaboy Root Beer, and you'll love it no matter what your age. Just ask for a Bricktown Kids menu with all the favorites for our guests 12 and under. Bricktown Brewery opens every day at 11 a.m.
Think you need to leave the city to have fun at a casino? Well, think faster. Because wherever you are in OKC, you can get to Remington Park fast. So you'll be here faster and winning faster on all the latest and greatest games. Don't miss the $400,000 Oklahoma Derby on Sunday, September 29th at 3 p.m. with our wine tasting festival at 2 and the hat and bow tie contest till 4 p.m. Get your heart racing fast in the heart of the city at Remington Park, the fastest action in town.
Robertson Tire has been your local tire expert since 1962. Now at RobertsonTire.com, it's easier than ever to get a customized quote. And with our price match guarantee, you can be sure that you're getting the best price. For more information, visit RobertsonTire.com.
Joining us on Oklahoma Sports Scene here at the Bricktown Brewery on South Peoria in Tulsa is our good friend Michael Nsien, the head coach of the Tulsa Roughnecks. Michael, there's been a lot of changes all of a sudden in Roughneck soccer, including some exciting news about new ownership, and it looks like a bright future.
Yeah, the new owners are enthusiastic. They're a Tulsa family. I'm excited about the opportunity, the resources that they're going to have to bring to the club.
Yeah.
What do you think in the future? Does this expedite the opportunity for a soccer-only pitch in Tulsa?
Yeah, there's been some of that talk. I don't know if I'm privy to share all of that, but it sounds like that'll be an opportunity that may be there in the future. And in that case, it'll be fantastic and exciting for Tulsa.
Yeah.
I know, Coach, September 21st, but just got you that match here. We had Orange County FC in here, playing into an absolute stalemate, had a couple opportunities early, then go to extra time and lose it 1-0, huh?
Yeah, it's unfortunate for 90 minutes of the game, like you said. It was kind of back and forth, kind of even. We had 3 free kicks at the end. We pushed players at the end to win the game, and they countered at the last second and stole the points.
And your goalkeeper, Sean Lewis, made some big saves to keep you in the match.
He was fantastic. You know, when he's healthy, I think he's one of the best goalkeepers in the USL. So he's a privilege to work with, and hopefully he remains healthy for the rest of the season.
Well, earlier this evening, our show was on at 10 o'clock on Wednesdays across the state of Oklahoma. The Roughnecks were hosting San Antonio FC, and we crushed them, by the way. Just sound positive about that. We don't know the result.
Yeah, it's already happened.
But we can look forward to October. Finally, we're home with a pretty good run of home matches to end the season.
Yeah, we'll finish the season with 3 home games against very competitive teams that are vying for playoff positions. But we'll be hoping to take those points and be the spoiler at the end of the season.
Yeah. That'd be great to be the spoiler, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we'd have won the last match, there's some hope. But losing that last match, it probably put us in a position that it's not possible. But we'll just look to end on the positive and keep winning games.
You bet.
Previewing those matches, by the way, October the 5th, Sacramento Republic FC comes into Tulsa, 7 p.m. kick. October 12th, New Mexico United, that's 7 p.m. Then we have an afternoon match, 3 p.m. to wind up the season. October 19th, Reno 1868 FC. A little scouting report, how we match up with these teams coming to Tulsa.
Well, they're very good teams. I think New Mexico was one of our first away games, and they had, I think, 12,000 people at their stadium. Very good crowd. We were back and forth. They finished. They beat us 2-1. Reno, we're pretty even. We tied with Reno, but they're one of the top teams, and Sacramento is always one of the top teams in the league. So it'll be exciting for anyone that wants to come and watch a good game of soccer.
Who's your leading player right now, do you think, going into the last part of the season?
Yeah, I think it's no doubt Rodrigo Dekota. He's put up a lot of points, goals, and assists. He's one of the players to watch this season. He's got a bright future. Definitely, probably one of the goals of the year with the bicycle kick he scored a few weeks ago. So we're excited about him and his future. He's a fantastic player in person.
Now, what's ahead for these players now that the season is over, the Major Soccer here? Where will they go play now? Will they continue going on?
The season, the break is brief, only a couple of months.
Wow.
Guys will come back in January. So the players that we'll bring back, we'll start going through that process now and discussing the futures of some of the players. I think we have a healthy core of players we want to bring back. We're excited to build on what we have.
Where do you find your players? Is it the collegiate level or other clubs or what?
Yeah, I think it's things are changing. It used to be more the collegiate level. Now players are foregoing college soccer to play professional with the USL opportunity. So we're looking at younger players that are foregoing college opportunities, some college players, and then there's players all over the world. So I just try to use my network of people that I know across the U.S. and other places to help me with that.
And Michael Nsien, our head coach of the Tulsa Roughnecks, what do you say to the Tulsa soccer fans? That we have a core of them, and boy, they're a strong, loyal group, those fans, of Roughneck soccer fans.
Yeah, we have a really good group, the Roustabout's and La Union. We have a really good, exciting bunch that are raucous and loud, and they put teams under pressure. But we just look forward. I know the new ownership group's looking forward to continue to grow in the fan base. We're excited about what that'll look like in the future with more fans of that level.
What do you think we need to do to grow that fan base?
I think a stadium would be nice. I think that helps. I think people want to watch soccer on a soccer-specific stadium, which is great. But I think us being successful is another big part. So being consistent with what we're doing on the field will also help. Tulsa loves winners.
Well, the Tulsa Roughnecks Football Club has also been very supportive of youth soccer and also being very much involved in the Hispanic community here.
Yeah, and that's an opportunity for us, and we want to tap into not only player-wise, but fan base-wise. They're intelligent fans. Obviously, a lot of them grow up with experience, and understanding of what the game is, and we'd love to have them continue to bring them out and bring more players of that nature also.
Yeah. Well, your goal the next 4 games is to play as hard as you can and finish strong and spoil everybody else's picnic,
yeah,
right?
Just climb up the table, take points. We want to finish with pride, and every player is obviously playing for contracts and jobs also.
Correct.
So
yeah.
Just being professional and closing out the season on the high.
Write these dates down now. October the 5th, Sacramento. October the 12th, New Mexico. October 19th, Reno. Finishing strong with 3 home matches at One Oak Stadium. Get out there, support Coach Nsien and the Roughnecks, and something for the coach
and
here,
too. And when you get a chance, come by Bricktown again.
Oh, fantastic. Love it.
You bet.
Always cherish these things.
Michael, thanks for joining us, my friend.
All right. Appreciate
All the best,
it,
guys.
Michael.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thanks a lot.
Michael Nsien, our Roughnecks head coach. We're going to come back with Ted Owens, talk about the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Maybe a little KU basketball, too. They're here, they're new, they're Bricktown's Brick Twisted Foods. And listen to this lineup of some exciting new type foods at Bricktown Brewery restaurants. How about this? Pork green chili tachos. That's right, tachos. Homemade tater tots, top of pulled pork, green chili, cheese, bacon, cilantro, and top with a fried egg. Ooh, yeah. Hot fig and goat cheese dip as well. Also have their fried chickpea salad, protein salad bowl, steak and cheddar sandwich. All at Bricktown Brewery. Get and try the twisted food.
At Robertson Tire, we'll match any deal you find on tires, but customer service remains at the core of our business. That's why we've been voted the very best in all 3 major area publications. Thank you for choosing Robertson Tire for all your auto care needs.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
Whether it's a wedding, birthday, family reunion, or company event, give your next big event a unique country feel at our Red Barn Event Center located just north of Tulsa. We feature plenty of party room inside and out for up to 350 guests. a huge open floor space, and even a big stage. The Red Barn features a full kitchen, separate bride and groom dressing areas. Outside weddings are beautiful under our 100-year-old pecan tree. For your next big event, with a do-it-yourself wedding, the Red Barn Event Center is the perfect choice. Booking now for future events.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene, and now we have a special guest, Ted Owens, who's going to talk about the Steve Davis FCA luncheon next week. Welcome to the Sports Scene.
Coming up Wednesday, October 2nd. It'll be at 11:30 downtown DoubleTree Hotel. A great event, again, benefiting Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And Coach, you and I, of course, long related with Fellowship of Christian Athletes. You've been really involved for a long time.
I've been involved over 60 years
Wow.
with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Great organization. It's really had a very positive effect on so many coaches and players' lives. So I'm really proud to be associated with it.
And since 1954, the FCA has been involved with athletes challenging coaches and athletes in professional, college level, high school, junior high, youth levels, to bringing the message of Christ, of course, into their lives. And it really has been a powerful influence.
Yeah, even though it started in Oklahoma, I didn't know about it until I went to the University of Kansas as the assistant coach. And Coach Harp told me one summer, he said, Coach, I want you to take you and your family to Estes Park, Colorado. It'll be a wonderful experience. And that was my introduction to the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And they had some heavy hitters back in those days were involved. Branch Rickey, who brought Jackie Robinson into baseball. Otto Graham, Bob Feller, some wonderful people. And Billy Graham's and his family have always been very supportive.
Yeah.
You know, Billy Graham said that a coach has an opportunity to affect more lives in 1 year than most people do in a lifetime. And I think that's true.
You know, I got involved in 1962 as a junior at Rogers High School, and a guy by the name of Ed Lacey,
yes,
the longtime coach at Booker T and then the athletic director for the Tulsa Public Schools, had a meeting up on Chandler Park.
Yes.
And we had a representative from all of the, at that time, 6 high schools. And from that point on, we've been involved with it, and it is a tremendous thing for young men and women who are involved in athletics.
You bet. Well, Steve Davis, when Steve Davis was the great quarterback at the University of Oklahoma, he really was a great supporter of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and that's why we named the Champions Luncheon in his name.
What's sad, it started in 2013. I'll never forget this, Coach. First FCA luncheon, Steve Davis luncheon. Well, that was the FCA luncheon.
Yeah.
And it was just 2 weeks later, Steve was killed in that tragic private plane crash in South Bend, Indiana. So then we named it after him, the luncheon.
You bet. And we've had some great speakers. Bobby Bowden here a couple of years ago. Archie Griffin, the 2-time Heisman Trophy winner, and I'm really
this week.
And
next week.
I'm honored that my good friend Bill Self will be here on October the 2nd. Coach Self is. Let me tell you, he starts practice October the 1st.
Wow.
And on their only day off that week,
that?
he's taken to come down, to drive down to speak at the luncheon, and I'm really grateful for that.
Again, that's October the 2nd, the Steve Davis Luncheon Fellowship of Christian Athletes, 11:30, downtown DoubleTree Hotel. That's 616 West 7th. Kansas Hall of Fame basketball coach Bill Self will be there to speak to the group there. And of course, his record is incredible. I mean, 14 consecutive conference championships in the Big 12, Ted. I mean, that's just...
People don't understand how difficult it is to be good every year.
Yeah.
I mean,
just to win one is enough.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. That run's incredible.
Of course, coach himself is a Hall of Fame basketball coach.
Absolutely.
800 kids at Kansas. Before you go, you've got to bring up the news, of course. It has been announced. The NCAA now has made it official. They investigated the University of Kansas. They find him in lack of institutional control as a coach.
Yeah, that's what they said.
And looking at the Adidas situation, Coach, and I know we can't really talk about it because they haven't had an official response from the University of Kansas yet. They will, they said, appeal, as will Coach Self.
Well, I hate to comment very much on it without knowing all the details. Right. You know, what a source says doesn't necessarily mean that it's accurate. But let me tell you what I know about Bill Self. Every young man who is in the Kansas program not only becomes a better player, but becomes a better person as a result of their experience with Coach Self and his staff. He has been wonderful to me and to our family. He makes me feel that we've really been important to Kansas basketball, and he makes my players feel of great importance. A couple of things that I might mention to you. My captain in 1966, Delvey Lewis, was dying of bone marrow cancer. Coach Self, this is not one of his players, but one of my players. Coach Self has him come over from Topeka and speak to his team, and Coach called him every week as he was fighting for his life. But not just a great player. I had a manager named Chuck Purdy from South Dakota. He was the manager of our Final Four team in '74, and he was fighting cancer. And Coach Self had him, they brought him over to Iowa State, to the Iowa State game, had him sit behind the bench, gave him the VIP treatment. And so when you mention Bill Self to me, you're mentioning a fine man.
As we feel about him at the University of Tulsa too, of course, and at Oral Roberts University. Great following here, and wish Bill Self all the best, and we look forward. You'll want to hear him talk. Again, Steve Davis Champions Luncheon. It is October 2nd, 11:30, downtown Doubletree Hotel. Something for the coach here.
Come back to Bricktown, Ted.
Okay, I always like it.
There we go.
Enjoy the good food here. All right, great to
Thanks,
see
Coach
you.
Owens.
You bet.
Ted Owens, legendary coach from the Kansas Jayhawks, and of course now with Tulsa Christian Athletes doing great work there as well. We're going to come back with our Remington Report and some party shots right after this.
Think you need to leave the city to have fun at a casino? Well, think faster. Because wherever you are in OKC, you can get to Remington Park fast. So you'll be here faster and winning faster on all the latest and greatest games. Don't miss the $400,000 Oklahoma Derby on Sunday, September 29th at 3 p.m. with our wine tasting festival at 2 and the hat and bow tie contest till 4 p.m. Get your heart racing fast in the heart of the city at Remington Park, the fastest action in town.
Hey Mo, have you seen the MDX? I'm pretty sure it was in the showroom when I left yesterday.
No, sorry, Jen. I haven't seen it.
Are you positive you haven't seen it?
Hey Mo, I went ahead and pulled the MDX back up on the showroom for it. Oh, hey Jen.
Haven't seen it, huh?
The Eshbach 6E Ranch on 800 acres north of Tulsa invites you to know the benefits of miniature Herefords. The 6E has always been committed to providing the finest quality meats. Our hormone-free beef is always on grass, then grain-fed the last 90 days to that perfect mix of marbling and taste. We will deliver the animal to a USDA-inspected facility. All you have to do is pick up your vacuum-packed processed meat. Fill your freezer with the finest quality beef at the best price. We also specialize in registered miniature Herefords for breeding and show. Call the 6E Ranch today.
Our Remington Race Report this week features a Kentucky Derby winning jockey, Stuart Elliott. I remember him because I covered his Kentucky Derby win in 2004 for ESPN on the great Smarty Jones. Well, now Stuart Elliott moved his tack to Remington at the top of the jockey tables there and right near it. That's our feature report from Dale Day at Remington Park.
Horses at Remington Park, ridden by jockey Stuart Elliott, have become very popular with their wagering public. The journeyman jockey, now with almost 5,000 career wins, has been getting the most out of his mounts here, and that's just what you might expect from a jockey who has won a Kentucky Derby. Richard Linehan has more.
The horse racing carousel completed a full circle on September 5th at Remington Park. Jockey Stuart Elliott won the Kentucky Derby aboard Smarty Jones in 2004. Some 15 years later, Elliott, who is riding at Remington Park full-time for the first time, won the 6th race in the irons of Tiz Plus. Tiz Plus is a 3-year-old grandson of Smarty Jones. Sometimes it doesn't seem that long ago for Elliott when Smarty Jones was going for the Triple Crown. The memories are still clear as a bell for him, but they are memories that almost never happened. Smarty Jones came close to never running a race in his life.
When he became Smarty Jones and they had him on TV and they showed it all and everything, and told about it. But all I know is that he had flipped over in the gate and fractured his skull in there. Yeah. In the morning, yeah, he had. I don't know if he was going to work out of the gate, whatever, but he was in pretty bad shape and almost died.
Smarty Jones recovered, and Elliott, through his friendship and business relationship with trainer John Service, was named to ride him. It culminated with Smarty winning the Derby and the Preakness. Elliott remembers how it felt winning the Roses for the first time.
That was unexplainable, really. You know, people have asked me that, and when I got to the wire, you know, when you're in a race, you're not thinking it's the Kentucky Derby. You're just, you're just doing your job. You're focused on what's going on around you. But when I got to the wire, it was unbelievable. The feeling I had, it just kind of came over me that you just won the Kentucky Derby.
Elliott is having great success in his first full season at Remington Park, currently second in the jockey standings. He is expected to have plenty of big mounts in the stakes races on Oklahoma Derby Day. Speaking of which, that Oklahoma Derby Day is on Sunday, September 29th, featuring a pair of Grade 3 races in the Derby and the $200,000 Remington Park Oaks with 6 other stakes events included. The first race on Oklahoma Derby Day is at 3 p.m. Admission parking and valet parking are always free at Remington Park, where the casino never closes. At Remington Park in Oklahoma City, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sports Scene.
It's the biggest day of racing of the fall thoroughbred meeting. It's Oklahoma Derby Day this Sunday, September 29th. Special post time, 3 o'clock. Time for parting shots. Coach Cloud leads us off.
You know, we see Bill Self now in trouble, or at least the University of Kansas in trouble, and the football program in trouble. And yet, when you look at what's going on with the NCAA investigating these institutions, the common denominator are the apparel companies, the shoe companies that put the big dollars in coaches' hands. And when you talk big dollars, you're going to talk about the opportunity for corruption. I think it's absolutely asinine, the contract that the University of Kansas signed over a 14-year period. They literally sold their soul, and now they're going to have to pay for it. It's going to be interesting to see where all this comes down over the next 3 or 4 months as the NCAA starts this investigation. And of course, then the coach will have to appeal that, and that's another 90 days. And so it'll be into the basketball season. So it could be really interesting toward March Madness, because some people could really be mad in March.
Coach, I know you're going to be kind of concerned about this too. A disturbing report from the National Federation of State High School Associations. Participation in all high school sports activities has declined for the first time in 30 years, including drops in football, basketball, especially girls basketball. It was the 5th straight year this has happened. Now, while numbers in the last decade show that population has grown by 7.5%, football numbers are down 9.5%, but not in 4 states. Including, we're proud to say, Oklahoma up 15%. How can you reverse these trends? Better equipment, better training, better coaching. Good luck. Heck of a show, Coach. Good job today.
Yeah, I think so. I enjoyed it, and I am pleased to tell you that numbers are up in Oklahoma in football, which is interesting with the CTE scare that we've been through.
Thanks for joining us, Oklahoma Sports Scene. See you next week.